and hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Campus Smarts. I'm your host, Jordan Owens. Here on Campus Smarts, we like to give A&M Commerce students the opportunity to show off their hard-earned education by asking them a series of questions that they should know the answers to, but most likely don't know the answers to. So, in studio today with us are Becky Forbes and Ryan Phillips. How are you guys doing?
Very good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Thank you all for coming on. Are you all excited to play some Campus Smarts today?
Of course.
A little nervous.
A little nervous? Hey, that's all right. That's all right. You want to know what you're playing for today? It's a really cool prize.
Yes.
You want to know?
Yeah.
It is this Sonic gift card right here.
Oh.
Everybody loves Sonic, and so now you have the chance to go get you some cherry limeade right after the show if you end up winning. Right. All right. Here on Campus Smarts, we also like to go out on the field and interview other A&M Commerce students. So let's take the time right now to introduce those contestants.
Hello and welcome to Campus Smarts. And before I ask the first question, we'd like to know your name. Can you tell us your name, please?
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you for being on our show. Hello and welcome to Campus Smarts. And before we get started, though, I'd like to ask you a little bit about yourself. What's your name?
I'm Chris.
Hi, Chris. It's nice to meet you, and thank you for being on our show. Hello and welcome to Campus Smarts. Thank you for being with us. And before we get started, let me ask you a question. What's your name?
Nick Harp.
It's nice to meet you, Nick, and thank you again for being on our show. So you ready to get started?
Sure thing, man.
So those three contestants right there are going to be y'all's lifelines, so to say, today on Campus Smarts. They'll give you the opportunity to score more points and end up winning that Sonic card. All right? So are you ready to hear how we play Campus Smarts?
Yes.
All right, because, I mean, you have to know the game in order to play it, right?
Right.
So let's watch this short instructional video on how we play round one. Here it is.
Round 1. In round 1 of Campus Smarts, we have 2 live contestants, 3 video
pretty much.
contestants, and the game
Three
show host.
contestants, and,
The round begins
they'll be
when the
active.
host reads off the question and the live contestants have their shot at answering. Once their answer has been given, they will choose one of the 3 video contestants in which they feel answered the question correctly. The live contestant who chooses a correct video contestant will gain a point. If both contestants choose a correct video contestant, both will gain a point.
All right, so think you got that right there? We couldn't really hear it out here, but pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to have the 3 contestants, and you'll pick one of those 3 contestants, and you'll pick which one you thought answered correctly. And if you guess correctly, then you'll get an extra point. All right, so that's how it's going to work here. So are you ready to go?
Oh, yes.
Ready for the first question? Today's show is a history show. It's all about U.S. history. So let's go ahead and get on to the first question here today. Number 1, what was the first state to allow women's suffrage? Was it A, Utah, B, Nevada, C, Wyoming, or D, Colorado?
Do we like buzz in?
You can answer, yeah. You can buzz or hit this board right here. All right.
C.
C, Wyoming. Is that what you think?
That's my final answer.
You want to give a guess?
B.
B, Nevada?
Yeah.
So we have Wyoming and Nevada. The correct answer is actually Wyoming. So Ryan, you are on the scoreboard first with 1 point right there. And now you have the opportunity to gain an extra point by guessing which one of the 3 contestants answered correctly.
Okay.
All right? So who do you think answered correctly? Was it Michelle? And I don't remember the other 2 names because we couldn't hear it out here. So Michelle, Chris was the other one, maybe, and then who else? Nick. And Nick. Chris, Michelle, or Nick? Who do you think answered correctly in this round?
I'm going to go with Nick.
Nick? Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Michelle.
Michelle? So we have Nick and Michelle. Let's see who answered correctly out of those 2 contestants.
Okay, so you ready for question number 1? Okay, let's do this. Question number 1. What was the first state to allow women's suffrage? Was it A, Utah, B, Nevada, C, Wyoming, or D, Colorado?
C.
C. So, number 1. What was the first state to allow women's suffrage? A, Utah, B, Nevada, C, Wyoming, or D, Colorado?
Wyoming.
All right. So Chris answered correctly, or was it Nick? Nick, Chris, I don't know. Whoever it was, they answered correctly.
Okay.
And I believe Michelle answered incorrectly, so you are awarded 1 more point there. So it's now 2-0 going into the second question here on Campus Smart. All right, here we go. A little shaky start, but we'll get there. What was President Lincoln's goal at the beginning of the Civil War? No answer choices on this one. This all comes from your noggin right here. What was President Lincoln's goal at the beginning of the Civil War? Let's think. Any guesses here? We know some of the reasons why the Civil War was started, but what was President Lincoln's goal? What did he want to accomplish?
Bring the states back into the Union.
What do you
The ones
think?
that
I was going to
seceded.
say unite the North and South.
Unite the North and South? Well, you both are kind of correct. The correct answer is to preserve the Union. So there you go. You both are awarded a point there, so it's now 3-1. Now, out of Nick, Michelle, and Chris, Becky, who do you think answered correctly there?
Nick.
Nick?
I'll go with Michelle this time.
Michelle? Okay, switching it up. All right, Nick and Michelle, who answered correctly here?
What's President Lincoln's goal at the beginning of the Civil War?
To live.
To live. Thank you. You want to exaggerate that a little bit more?
To not get killed.
Not get killed. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, number 2. What was President Lincoln's goal at the beginning of the Civil War?
It's a tough one. Go with civil rights.
Okay, civil rights. Thank you.
So they both answered incorrectly there, so no points awarded. We're stuck at 3-1 going into the third question of round number 1. All right, here we go. This one's a little bit tougher. You thought that one was tough. This is a little bit harder.
Okay.
Who did the Emancipation Proclamation actually free immediately, right whenever it was passed? Who did the Emancipation Proclamation free?
The Southern slaves.
The Southern slaves?
Okay, number
Becky,
3.
what do you think?
I guess all of them were Southern.
The people who are slaves at that moment.
At that moment? You know what? Good guesses, but you both are incorrect. It was actually no one. No one was freed immediately because it claimed to free slaves in all rebel states, but since the Confederacy had broken away from the Union, that didn't have any control there so that until the end of the war. So therefore no one was freed right whenever the Emancipation Proclamation was passed. So let's see what Nick, Michelle, and Chris had to say. Ryan, who do you think answered correctly here?
Chris.
Chris?
Yeah.
All right. What about you?
Can we say no one?
No one?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Michelle.
Michelle, Chris and Michelle. Let's see who answered correctly.
Okay, number 3. Who did the Emancipation Proclamation actually free immediately?
Male slaves.
Male slaves. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Number 3. Who did the Emancipation Proclamation actually free immediately?
Indentured servants.
Oh, they both are incorrect as well. So therefore, it's still 3-1. Now, here at Campus Smarts, we like to see what other students think as well. So we interviewed some other students, and let's see what they had to say on this particular question. Let's see what percentage of those students got this question correctly.
Right away, I don't think anybody was quite free. It kind of took some time. I know it freed the slaves, not really entirely, but I think for starters, I don't think nobody was free just yet.
African American slaves?
Well, my guess would be it freed the black slaves.
Okay.
The indentured servants.
The slaves.
So only 1 out of those 5 contestants there actually got that one correctly. That was a pretty tough question here on Campus Smarts. All right, moving on to question number 4. Who became president as a result of the corrupt bargain? Was it A, John Quincy Adams, B, John F. Kennedy, C, George W. Bush, or D, Millard Fillmore?
I'm going to go B.
B, John F. Kennedy?
A.
What do you think? A, John Quincy Adams? You were actually correct. It was John Quincy Adams, so therefore you are awarded 1 more point. All right, out of those 3 contestants, who do you think answered correctly, Becky?
Chris.
Chris?
Nick.
Nick? Chris and Nick. Let's see who answered correctly.
Number 4. Who became president as a result of the corrupt bargain? Was it A, John Quincy Adams, B, John F. Kennedy, C, George W. Bush, or D, Millard Fillmore?
Who was the first one again?
That would be A, John Quincy Adams.
John Quincy Adams.
John Quincy Adams, your final answer?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Number 4. Who became president as a result of the corrupt bargain? Was it A, John Quincy Adams, B, John F. Kennedy, C, George W. Bush, or D, Millard Fillmore?
Millard Fillmore.
Becky, you are awarded 1 point there. It's now tied up 3-3 here on Campus Smarts. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back for round number 2 of Campus Smarts. Be sure to stay with us.